I believe in a world where there is no more war.
I believe in a world where there is no more hunger.
I believe in a world where mercy and justice live side by side.
I believe in a world where love prevails over racism.
Where people come together across their differences.
Across their differences
to make a difference.
I believe in love.
When we shift our focus from ourselves
Hope
to
to
others.
people that are in hopeless
Love
situations.
can make a difference.
Freedom to people that are
People
suffering.
bearing responsibility for one another's
Human
outcomes.
is the one race.
What do you believe in?
We are the Interfaith Council for Peace and Justice.
And we believe that this world can and will change as we seek its renewal.
I believe that when wars break out,
It is up to all of us to end them and bring peace.
Barbara's involvement in part goes back to seeing a film that came from Vietnam that showed a little child running from a napalm.
the world just shrank. If that's that little girl, what could happen to my little girl?
That just all started gelling into a concern that we knew had to be larger than just a Protestant one. And we met around our dining room table one day. And out of that came the Interfaith Council for Peace. I remember candlelight vigils. I remember walking from the Methodist Church one cold winter night down to St. Thomas.
Right?
And eventually you took delegations to Washington to visit Congress people too.
That's right, we did.
Only time Barbara ever got arrested was in a protest in Washington.
When we see something is not right, or where people don't have an opportunity to be full human beings, we just find a way to see what we can do to help.
We believe that when hate threatens to hurt others,
It is up to all of us to step in and protect each other.
In 1996, there was a Klan rally here in Ann Arbor. Their reason, they said, was as a recruitment rally. Immediately afterwards, ICPJ called together a group of people and said, we know they'll be back eventually. How can we do it differently? We trained well over 100 people to be a third-party nonviolent intervention peace team. While the Klan was speaking, we had an alternative rally that people could go to. It was both a celebration of diversity and acknowledging that there is racism here in this community, and we need to do something about that. We need to keep doing that work. So after everybody goes home and takes their nap, you still can come back to ICPJ and say, what's the next step?
Well, the tragedy of September 11th was a tragedy for our entire nation. There began to be an attack upon Islam and Muslims with an increasement of Islamophobia and anti-Muslim hate crimes. ICPJ reached out and engaged the broader community in general, and also asked Muslims to talk about not only Islamophobia, but to try to dispel the misconceptions about Muslims by allowing us to come and express ourselves in regards to what we believe as Muslims. It's important that Americans who are not Muslims stand up for the rights of Muslims, because an assault or an infringement upon the civil liberties of one group of Americans really places in jeopardy the civil liberties of all of us.
we believe that when we see injustice, it's up to all of us to serve and to uplift the oppressed.
We know that there's enough food in our world to feed everyone. It's just how is it distributed? How are people able to get what they need? Crop Walk originally started as a need for hungry people in Europe following World War II. Without ICPJ, because of the size of the walk in Ann Arbor, it would be practically impossible, I think. The Crop Walk is one of the largest gatherings of people from 40 to 50 organizations, churches, temples, synagogues, that brings people together to work for one unifying cause, which is feeding hungry people.
There's a gap between the wealthiest children here at home and the poorest children here, and there's a racial gap. As a nation, how are we going to put forth our best ideas about things if we've got this huge, huge, huge segment of the population that hasn't received a decent education. Our most recent thing that we've done is to try to create a setting in which lots of these different groups could come together and create an outline of what their best possibilities were. In trying to give something to future generations, I would like to see the efforts that the Interfaith Council puts forward, the efforts that those who are struggling for a better world put forward. I'd like to see those things much more disseminated.
What do you believe in?
If you believe the world should change, if you believe that there will be transformation,
then join us as we seek the peace of the earth.
We can't change the world alone,
but with a little work and a lot of faith,
we can see it changed together.
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 Together.